why I don't dance and why I don't sing. And it was because in 5th grade, my school district did a musical aptitude test. So every 6th grader was required to be in band. And so in 5th grade, they had you take a test that would tell you what instrument you were going to play in band. And if you scored high enough on the test, you got to be in jazz band. And I wanted to play the electric guitar. So I took this test and I crushed it. I was like, I nailed it. I knew every note. I could hear it perfectly. I'm going to be playing the electric guitar next year. And then over the summer, got a letter in the mail, and it was addressed to my parents from Northfield Public Schools. And so I opened it, and it said, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Hudson, based on the results of Marc's musical aptitude test, we recommend that he takes art in middle school."
Damn. Oh
no! Yeah. Damn. And that's when I realized that maybe I wasn't, as good at music as I thought I was. And then it kind of occurred because of that and learning to dance, or the fact that I couldn't dance, I realized I'm basically tone deaf. So I still love music though, I'm not good at it. So.
What is it still like? Electric guitar still?
Oh no,
your favorite?
No. That dream was thoroughly crushed. And
that's crazy though.
That was it.
I think he should do art.
Yeah, I was
like art?
not guitar, maybe the trumpet. It was he's not do music at all. And it was like 350 kids, and there was like me and like 10 other ones in that 6th grade art class. It was like,
damn. Did you hate art?
Actually, art was okay.
Okay. What did you learn from it? Because I feel like everything happens for a reason. So, did you get anything out of the art class?
No, I was a huge troublemaker. I mean, that was my story in school. I was never good in school. I ended up, acing every test I ever took, like standardized tests, but I never did my homework, and I was always, class clown, always causing trouble, getting kicked out of class, did a lot of detention, especially in middle school, and then ended up finally got my first suspension in 8th grade for crossing the line one too many times. So, no, I feel like that was just part of my story, which was I never really liked school. I was always bored, and so being bored in school manifested itself in me just screwing around, causing trouble, instigating other kids into screwing around, and that was my thing that I did.
So what are you doing now?
Not school. Not school. No, it's funny. So I barely graduated high school, and I ended up, wanting to start my own company coming out of high school. So I was like, I'm not going to college. It's just not for me. And I had a mentor. I've been really fortunate in my life. I can say there's been 3 or 4 people along the way when I'm really screwing up that have kind of, reached over and given me their hand and been like, hey, let me show you, a different path. And so I had this mentor in high school who told me about this program at Michigan State, landscape design and construction program, which, I was thinking about starting like a high-tech greenhouse business. I was really interested in kind of that intersection of where greenhouses are and solar technology. And long story short, I ended up getting into this program at Michigan State, which was a 2-year program that had lower entrance requirements. So my GPA was terrible. I went and got in. So I got into that program, and it was while I was at Michigan State that I was able to get my act together. And it still took me 2 years, but then I ended up doing pretty well and transferring in as a full 4-year student. And that really gave me the opportunity to, get a bachelor's degree and then kind of, get out into the world. Otherwise, I don't know. I still was going to be an entrepreneur, but I think that helped me because I wasn't really ready for that yet. And so then while I was at Michigan State, a little project called Google Fiber happened, and I was super interested in that, and that kind of led me to where I'm at today.
So where are you today?
So today, we're at Rocket Fiber headquarters. We've got 60 team members, and we've got high-speed, cutting-edge, third fastest internet in the entire country. Internet speed right here in Detroit, and it all came out of this series of events where I left school, ended up down here at Quicken Loans, and wanting to join a really entrepreneurial company. still never lost my desire to do my own gig, and I had that opportunity within Quicken Loans and with 2 other crazy guys, Randy and Eddie, my partners, to go out and start this company. And it was all from this kind of belief of, well, Google's doing all this cool stuff, but they're not really looking at Detroit. Like a lot of people, right? Like people write Detroit off. It's Detroit. It has a stereotype nationally. And so for us, it was always like, well, let's just do this ourselves. And let's get really, true to Detroit style. Let's get really scrappy. Let's do our own company. And we can do something that's really game-changing. Not just from a technology standpoint, but from a service standpoint as well, which is like, where a huge part of our emphasis is on is how do we change the client service in our industry. And when you interact with your service provider, most people they think about calling their internet company or their cable company and their blood pressure just goes up because they know it's going to be a shitty experience. They know they're going to call and get transferred, they're going to get the runaround, they're going to get overcharged, there's going to be hidden fees, and it's just going to be a nightmare experience. And we're like, what if we could just fix that? And for every person we fix that for, that's time that they save, that's energy that they save, it's a whole new experience, and one where they're like, I actually want to talk to my internet company. Like, I don't mind picking up the phone. Sure, I may have an issue, but if I got to get it taken care of, they're going to take care of me. And so that's really what we've been trying to build here, and I think we're accomplishing that. And so for us now, it's really, okay, we've proven that we can do it, now how do we grow it and scale it so that we can bring that service to so many more people?
So, what I really want to understand and what I really want to talk about is the rain before the sunshine. Like that struggle period. Like the fact that you had an idea, had a vision. Talk about like the no's that you got, the feedback that you got, like wanting people in, telling people like I had this idea, I know it's gonna work. People may not have looked at you like you were the guy to bring it to fruition, may not have believed in your idea. Like talk about that struggle period. How did you feel through that? How did you overcome that?
Well, yeah, it was interesting. I learned a lot about how you get an idea going, how you get buy-in. I think candidly, I never thought I was the guy. I never thought I would be involved to the extent that I have been within starting this company in this organization, because I had no background, never worked in an internet service provider. It was really like, hey, this just needs to happen, and this is so important for Detroit, and that was what I think led to the persistence early on. And then when the idea kind of got some momentum, I emailed Dan a few times, and Dan came back and he was like, hey, this is interesting. And then that was like, that's all I need. All the other no's just were drowned out by that one yes. And Randy and Eddie, my partners, we kind of joined forces, and I think that for me, the difference between this entrepreneurial journey and ones I've done in the past, where I've tried to go it alone, is that there's always moments of doubt, whether it's in yourself, your idea. You let people that tell you no kind of wear you down, but when you have partners, when you have other people that are passionate, like you can rally around each other and bring all that energy into one, so to speak. So yeah, there were no's. There were some hard no's, but there were also a lot of more, this is a monumental thing and it would be great, but we don't know where to start. And we already, in certain cases, people are like, I already have a full-time job, I can't help you with this. It's not a no, it's more about, this isn't my thing, so it's incumbent on you to go figure it out. And I think it's kind of an important lesson. If it's something you're passionate about, no one else is going to drive it. No one else is going to do all the things and move all the pieces and put the passion and energy into it to get it going. So yeah, there's always no's, there's always doubters. People are going to doubt the idea, they're going to doubt that you're the person for the job, but at the end of the day, everybody that does something important, everybody that does something that's meaningful in the world, they get the no's. That's the first sign that you're on the right track. If you're not getting a bunch of no's, you're probably not doing something big enough. You're not pushing the envelope, and if you're not pushing the envelope, you probably don't have a viable business or something that's going to generate value in the world.
I want to go deeper on passion and persistence, man. Just what is passion to you?
Man, passion for me in its rawest form is that thing makes you stay up late at night and makes you, spring out of bed in the morning when you've only got, 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, but you're like wide awake and you're just like jittery and you're shaking. Like that's the physical expression of passion when you are so into something that it literally drives everything that you do. That's when I feel like physically maybe not my best, because maybe I'm running myself into the ground physically, but like when I'm like my soul is on fire and I can't sleep and I'm staying up late and I'm emailing or I'm texting, or like I got like this thing that I gotta talk it out. Like I want to talk about that next move, that next thing that we're gonna do, or product that we're launching, or something that I think is gonna change, our business. Like I don't know, for me it comes out very like I gotta just run into the battle. Like I want to go charging headfirst into it. So I think that's one part of it. The other part for me is passion plays out in the long run. It sustains you in moments where you may not have that energy. So in any business, like I don't care what you do, who you are, there are going to be times when you just don't feel totally like on fire about that idea. And passion is what sustains you through kind of the lulls until it comes back. Because there's things about every single person's job that they don't like. Like that's just a fact of life. There are going to be things that you just hate doing. There's not a perfect job out there where you're going to wake up and go, every single part of my day I'm going to love. And I think passion is what helps sustain you through those things that you don't like doing. And so for me, like the fact that, we're 3.5 years, almost 4 years into this thing, and I'm still like fired up about it, it tells me like I'm doing what I need to be doing. Like I'm in the place I need to be. And the second I don't feel that anymore, like I promise myself that, I'll have that internal decision point and be honest with myself that this isn't the place for me or the thing for me to be doing.
So you talked about kind of like the importance of a team earlier.
Yeah.
How long did it get you to understand that you needed a team to accomplish it? And how did you realize that the folks that you had around you were the right team members? Because a lot of people, like, they'll go to their friends first, or they'll meet somebody at a networking event, and you'll get with this person. Like, when did you understand that these were the guys that were put into your life specifically to help you bring this thing to fruition?
I think it's a process. It wasn't like day one that, I think the three of us and then some of our other team members who have joined and come together, it's not like one day you just like see somebody and you're like, hey, that's my partner, and that's the person like that we're gonna go build something and we're gonna go through, heaven and hell together. It's a process. Like you meet, you build trust with someone, you build a relationship, and when you spend as much time together as we do, it becomes a point where like you can predict each other. Like I know, like I could finish Eddie or Randy's sentences sometimes, and they can do the same for me. And they know when I'm gonna be like frustrated about something or vice versa, and we know how to help like steer each other in the right direction. So, I think a lot of people, they try and go into business with a friendship, and for me the opposite is work, which is I went into business with some guys who became my friends along the way, and you really have to have that trust, or else it doesn't work. Like if you don't trust that person, like end to end, whether it be on a personal level, running the business, you've got nothing. So like I have an implicit trust and a bond with those guys that has sustained us for 4 years through ups and downs and everything in between, through personal issues, professional issues. Like that is what sustains you through all of it. And we're really lucky here. We've got a really great leadership team, like just great human beings. I think that's where you start. Like you can't really teach character. Like someone's 30, 40 years old, 50 years old in life. If they don't have integrity and they don't have character, that at that point in their life, that's not something that you can really teach at that point. So I think we have a really high character team, good human beings who give a shit about what they do and the people that they lead, and that makes all the difference from what I've seen.
All right, so kind of going to the brand for SAME24, right? We got the same 24 hours in our day, and our greatness is determined by how we utilize that time.
Yeah.
How do you wake up in the morning? Do you have a certain mindset? How do you approach each day to get the most out of it?
Yeah. So consistency for me is something that is super important and something I'm working on every single day. Like how do I attack every day with the same energy? Because it's really easy to get sidetracked by things that go wrong or things that are different from a day-to-day basis. So it's like, how do you wake up super positive, ready to go, and how have you prepared yourself mentally, physically? So the thing for me recently is, I started this vegan diet. My team's giving me a lot of crap about it because I talk about it all the time. It's like the first rule of being a vegan is tell everyone that you're a vegan. But I did it because over the last 3 or 4 years, it's been, constant on the go, eating unhealthy, business development meetings, and your health is really critical to being successful in life and in business. You're going to be in high stress situations, high pressure situations, and your body has to be resilient and able to cope with that stuff. So eating healthy has been tremendous for me. I have a lot more energy. Before you just have a day where you don't feel good. It's like you could lose a whole day or be 50% capacity for a whole day because you don't feel good because something you ate. And now it's like every day I feel energized, ready to go, and like stress levels, like it's weird, but changing my diet makes me feel less stressed. Mm-hmm. So I think preparation, taking care of yourself, and consistency are all really, really important to being able to like maximize those 24 hours that you get every day. And it's the thing where, unfortunately, like as we saw in Las Vegas this week, like nothing's promised, right? Like no moment in life is promised. Every moment's a gift, and you can sit around and lay on your couch all day, and I'm guilty that I'm not perfect. I waste time, but I always try to remember like you've only got one shot, you've only got one life, so you might as well do something that you love and put your heart and soul into it. And so that's really what I try to do. I don't have any like specific magical formula. I know some people meditate, some people like just have the exact same routine every day. I'm not that dialed in yet, but yeah, I've got those principles that I try to live by.
You got any stuff? Any questions? Anything like?
Ask him what he thinks about operating in his greatness. I guess was his greatness.
Okay, so like kind of the initial message of the brand was operating in your greatness, your individual greatness, and it's because everyone that's alive, in my opinion, there's a reason for your existence. There's a mission that only you were designed specifically. You were designed specifically to execute a certain mission, and that's why you're still here. And in order for you to execute your mission, you have to be yourself. So if we're looking at your team, you can't be Eddie, right? Eddie has to be Eddie. Eddie can't be Marc. Marc has to be Marc. You have to operate in your greatness in order for this thing to work.
Yeah.
So what is your greatness, and how do you operate in your greatness?
Yeah, I have to say that the one thing, if I'm on the outside looking in at Marc, is that I've always been able to get people to buy into like an idea or a vision or whatever you want to call it. I've always been able to get people to follow me in that regard, like to, I think, communicate and get people excited about whatever it is that I'm trying to kind of pitch or get a group rallied around. So I think getting people to rally around an idea or a concept, not me, but really around an idea or a concept is something that I've always been able to do. And if my contribution to Rocket Fiber is anything, is that I think I've been part of it. I'm not the only person, I'm not the only one by any means, but I've been able to get people to rally around the idea, and why it's important for the city, and why it's important for the people here, and why it's important for us to do this rather than, let some huge technology company from somewhere else come in and do it. And I think that you're always, like, as a leader in a company, you're always pitching that, that idea, that vision, because people are always looking for what's the roadmap, what's the North Star. So yeah, I think if I'm here for anything, it's to help paint that picture for people, get them bought in, get excited, because really when people are bought in and their spirits are on fire about something, like there's no limit to what people can achieve. Like there's literally no limit. There's so many like examples of people that are literally changing the world every single day because they're on fire about something. So yeah, can't say I'm good at much else, but that's one thing I think I can do okay.
Sure. Like, let's talk a little bit about overcoming obstacles, because that's another thing. Like, I can identify that I have greatness inside of me. I can put on my helmet. I can be prepared to be the greatest football player ever. But the moment Ray Lewis comes and hits me in the mouth, my entire world can change. And at that point, when I receive that content, I can either absorb it, identify what I could have done better to make it a little juke move or a spin move or redirect my position, or I can go sit on the bench and cry about it and give up on my dreams, up on my greatness, up on my vision. So like, let's talk a little bit about overcoming and like when those challenges face you, when you get those no's, what gave you the passion, the persistence to continuously bypass all of that until you got that yes?
Yeah. You know, my old football coach always used to have this saying, which was, bad things happen to good people. Doesn't matter who you are, how you live your life, how good of a person you are, bad shit is going to happen. Your kids may get sick. You may lose a loved one. Adversity is going to find you. It is part of the human condition, and it's all about how you react and that you keep coming and that you don't let something throw you off, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I think that, you know, if I could point to one thing, it is being persistent and being able to overcome. Like in the movie Rocky, or one of the Rocky movies, he tells, I think it's his son, he says, in life it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can take a hit and keep coming. And so everyone gets hit hard. And the difference between people that just settle in life and the people that get to where they want to go is the people that get to where they want to go will take those hits and they'll keep coming. And they won't blame anyone. They look at themselves and go, hey, there's something I could have done different. I control my destiny. No one else controls my destiny. Somebody else might have, you know, got me on that one, but you know what? I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to outwork them, and I'm going to get to where I want to go because it's not about anybody else. It's about me. Because a lot of times I always hear people, like, they don't do it intentionally, but you always hear them, well, this person did this, and this person prevented me from getting there, and this person did that. And it's like, in life, it's the game is not about you versus anyone else. It's about you versus you, and how do you maximize who you are? Because, like, if you do that, I haven't met many people that can't do amazing, incredible things. If they just be true to themselves and do what they can do and not let all the other distractions and adversity, you know, get in the way.
And the biggest thing, like what I received from that, is the same reason why I was intentional with starting with Just Hats, because it is a mindset. So how does one develop that mindset? Like, is it something you're born with? Do you just keep getting hit in the mouth? Is it innate? Like, how do you get that mindset that I'm not gonna stop?
Well, I don't think it's a mindset. I think the mindset is that I'm gonna come back every time I get hit. And every time you get hit, you realize you can take a harder hit than you thought. And that makes you stronger. Like, you can go and dig deeper and go, look, man, that was a hard hit I took today, but I took a way harder one 3 months ago, so that was nothing. And experience and history tells me I'm going to come out of this thing, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep moving forward. And so now, like, there are things that happen every day within Rocket Fiber, any day in my life where I'm like, man, 2, 3, 4 years ago, that would have ruined my day. That would have ruined my afternoon. I would have been so, like, focused on that one thing, and now I'm like, it's in one ear and out the other. Like, that is part of life, it's part of business. And I'm sure I'm going to continue growing that. 5 years from now, I'm going to look back and go, there are things I dwelled on today, 2017, that were small potatoes. And so to me, the mentality is really like, when you get hit, it's like, how fast can you turn yourself back into the wind and go back for another one? Because it's really easy to take a hit and just be like, I'm out, I'm done, I'm gonna go curl in the fetal position under my blanket at home and not keep coming back for more. But you don't grow and you don't learn when you're in a safe space or in a safe zone. You learn and grow from going out there, putting yourself out there, exposing yourself to the world, and bearing your soul to the world. And it may be cruel and it may be harsh, but like, you're gonna grow from it. Mm-hmm. And you have to look at it like that. Like, this is a this is a gift that I'm getting from. When the world is bad to me, it's a gift to myself that I'm getting for my own growth and my own experience.
Now, one thing I'm really big on is the story we tell ourselves, because I can talk to a million people, but the voice I will hear the most throughout my life is my own. So, like, what story do you tell yourself? What story have you told yourself? What story do you believe in?
The story, I think, the conversation I have with myself is that, one, I'm in control of my own destiny. And that's super important to me. Like, no matter what, I'm in control of my own destiny. And if I ever get to a point where I'm like, somebody else controls my destiny, then I have a big problem with that. So I'm at Rock and Fiber because I want to be here. This thing happened because I wanted it to happen. What happens tomorrow happened because I wanted it to happen, not because I just sat back and let life dictate to me, what was going to happen. If I don't get to where I want to go, it's because I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want it to happen bad enough. And that's just a conversation and being honest with yourself. And for me, the being honest with yourself is a big part of that, which is when things don't go your way, like really, really don't go your way, you gotta look in the mirror and you gotta be honest with yourself and say, it's because I did this thing, or I went out when I should have been working, or I should have spent more time on this issue and I knew it was a problem, but I didn't prioritize it. And you've got to be honest with yourself.
How necessary is that?
It's super necessary and it's super hard. And it's also a thing where you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be your own biggest critic, but you also have to be extremely confident. Like, you cannot you can do it to a fault where you start questioning yourself, and you need to almost like look at yourself from the outside in and say, like, how I may be doubting myself, but other people believe in me. So, like, what's the problem there? Like, why am I being so hard on myself that I have self-doubt? And am I being, just unnecessarily difficult on myself? Because that's wasted energy too. So it's definitely an art, which is like being honest, being hard, being your own biggest critic, but also being like, I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with who I'm not, and I'm good enough, and I can go do whatever it is I set my heart and mind on. And I think that's been a thing for me over the last 3 or 4 years, where at certain times when things don't go well, it's kind of like, hey, am I good enough? Can I do this? And that's when you got to shake that self-doubt and be like, yeah, you know what? I am good enough. I can do this, and there's no reason I can't. And there's a million other people that can do stuff like this, and if they can do it, I can do it too. And the only thing getting in my way is myself, my own doubt. So I think that's been pretty big for me, realization over the last 3 or 4 years.
All right, and maybe like a final thing is, one thing that I like is we talk about, I think you touched on it earlier, about consistency, and consistency being the key to success. And for me, the direct opposite of that is complacency, and like complacency is the key to death. So how do you keep yourself from not necessarily resting on your wins, and staying focused on the future and the goals that you've set?
Yeah, so complacency, I think, happens for different reasons, and one of the reasons it can happen unintentionally is that you go at something and you just put your head down and you work and you work and you work and you work, and then you realize 6 months have gone by and you never came up for air. You never sat back and said, I'm removing myself from the situation. I'm going to look at things holistically. What am I doing here? What's my goal? What's my mission? And constantly reevaluating that, because the world changes and moves so fast, and you grow and learn and adapt as a person so fast that if you aren't consistently making time to just sit back and contemplate and look at life and say, is this something I want to do? Am I taking my business in the right direction? Then you're just going to be doing the exact same thing every single day. And so that's a trap I've fallen into, where I realize, like, hey, I'm just, moving forward an inch at a time when I need to be jumping forward and leaping forward. And you don't do that without setting like crazy huge audacious goals. And then when you get close to hitting those ones, you got to set them, way out in front again, because it's really easy to catch up to stuff and then not continue to set those like impossible goals that are impossible. They seem happening in my experience when you set them way out there.
I know. I feel like I'm all over the place with my questions. I feel like
No,
I'm just
you're
like
right.
pulling shit out the air. But like, I want you to like give me a message about just doing shit. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about take the roast out of the oven. We talk about like, and that's huge for me. So like, the SAME24 brand. Like, I've set on this idea. I've thought about it. Not in this way, but SAME24 has been something that's been on my mind, and I've wanted to do something with it for quite some time. And a lot of times we have these amazing ideas, or ideas we think are amazing, and we never act on them for whatever reason. We just like, it'll never happen. It'll never be as big as I want it to be. I can't do it. Talk a little bit about acting on your ideas, and then just fucking doing it. Like just doing it, not necessarily worrying about how much money I don't have to create this thing, who I'm not yet, who's gonna listen to me, but just doing it, man. Like,
yeah. Another thing my football coach used to say was, the cowards never started and the weak died along the way. And I've always, thought about that, which is like, it's really easy to just be in your comfort zone and say, I'm not going to step out on that ledge because it's scary. And I don't know what I'm going to find. Like, I may find that my dream isn't attainable, or I may find that I'm not the person that I thought I was. I think that's people's biggest fears. They're like, I think I can do that thing. I'm pretty sure I can do that thing, but I don't want to find out for sure. Because if I find out that I can't live with myself. And so people make up all these reasons and excuses of why they don't want to go do the thing that they actually want to do. And I've never understood that. Like, I think I'm just wired differently, or the way my parents raised me. So my parents were always like, do not just go do something for the sake of doing it. Don't go work in corporate America just for the sake of doing it. Do it because you love it, or there's something that calls you to it. In the same vein, if there's some idea or startup that you want to do, just go fucking do it. Like, life is short, you get one shot at it. You hear the story all the time of people that regret all the things they didn't do rather than the things they did do. And you could hear that from, however many 70, 80, 9-year-old people that, only have a few, years or moments left on planet Earth, but you still like go to work every day and be like, well, the downside is I find out that my idea didn't work, or I'm not who I thought I was. Well, guess what? Most ideas don't work. And most people find that they aren't who they thought they were, but they find that they have the capability to grow to be that person. And you don't get there without putting yourself in the pressure cooker, without going and failing at an idea 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Most entrepreneurs are not successful in their first idea, their second idea, their third idea, their fourth idea. It's the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th idea where you have learned so much from all the other times that you gave it a shot and you kept coming back for more. That's when you punch through. Like Rocket Fiber, this is like my 6th startup. I've been doing startups since I was in high school, and not one of them have gone anywhere. But I've learned from every single one of them. And not one of them was a failure. I don't view them as a failure. I view them as an opportunity that I got to learn to take me to the next level. To get to the place where I finally had enough experience to get an idea moving to a point where it could finally snowball and take off. And you never know if you don't try. So,
perspective. How key has perspective been in your life?
Perspective is something that I talk about or think about every single day. Perspective is, something goes wrong and it's like, yeah, that sucked and that hurt a lot, whether it be with a team member, a business deal, like, it hurts, but then perspective is, look at all the other amazing things that are happening around here. Look at all the amazing people I get to work with every day. Look at all the amazing opportunity that I've been afforded. Look at all the amazing things happening in Detroit. That's perspective. On the flip side of that, perspective is not resting on your laurels and not saying this is good enough because this is not good enough. Like, wherever I'm at, if I ever get to a point where I'm like, yep, I've arrived. I've accomplished what I set out to do, then I need to set something newer and bigger, because I never want to be at that point where I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm good. I'm just putting things on cruise control because that's just not who I am. So perspective is keeping things even keel, keeping them in the middle, and not getting too low, not getting too high, or too full of yourself or your accomplishments and thinking that you're done or that you've actually done something, because you're not there yet. You haven't made the impact that you can. You can always do more, and yeah, that's what perspective is to me.
So, now this question may be kind of weird, but in a way, you're already a success. For the sheer fact that you have this idea and you execute it, and now you have a full business where other people are supporting their families based on that fact, and you are making an impact. How rewarding is it when you do jump out on that ledge and you do try something and it does work?
You know, I always describe being an entrepreneur as it's the highest of highs and the lowest of the lows. Like, your low moments are moments that most people don't have to deal with outside of like major, life-altering events. And your highs are some of the most fun, enjoyable, rewarding feelings that you'll ever have in your life. And so, for me, again, you can play it safe. You can just have an even keel. Every day is the same, or you can sign up for something that it's just going to be a roller coaster and it's hanging on. And for me, I don't know, maybe I'm sick in the head, but like, that's what I love. I love being on that ride and riding it with a bunch of other great people that I just enjoy working with them, and they're passionate, and like, we feed off of it. We feed off each other, and so yeah, sign me up for the ride.
Okay. All right. You got any last words, man? Any points of inspiration for somebody who may be watching this, man, who needs that extra boost? Like, talk to the Marc Hudson. Like, okay, so this is your 6th startup, right?
Something like that.
Was there? I mean, you're wired differently. Was there any point, number 2, number 3, number 4, where you thought like, maybe this just isn't the thing for me?
No, I never got to that point. I think it was because I always lost interest in the idea rather than like saying that it failed. Mm-hmm. Like, in multiple cases, I built a product that was going to market, and right when I started like selling it or getting traction is when I was like, I'm just not passionate about this anymore. Which to me told me that I was passionate about building things. Like, I'm passionate about building products and things rather than, the sales and operations side of a business. And so, in terms of advice I would give people is, you have to do all of those to run a business. It's not just about building a product, and this is where you always hear about, minimum viable product and ship it, because a lot of entrepreneurs will work on something for months, years, and they're either afraid to take it out to the world, or they don't admit to themselves they like to build products. They don't like to actually do the other parts of running a business. So for me, having that conversation, admitting it, and finding people that do like the things that I don't like to do, or are better at them, that was huge for me. And that's where partners come in. Like, building a business is it's a freaking knockdown fight every single day, and there are things that you are just not going to be equipped to do, that you need other people. And that's where partners, team members, like those people that are bought in and believe in it just as much as you do, are so important. Like, you cannot do it on your own. There's almost no cases of any founder or entrepreneur like building like this amazing growth company on their own. The history books might not tell it, but there's always somebody there. There's always somebody by their side or right behind them, backing them up, doing the things that they're not good at, giving them the energy that they need when they're not, where they need to be mentally, because this thing it's a fight, and it can knock you down. And there are definitely times where, myself or my partners and my team, like, individuals get knocked down, but as a team, you're constantly like, we're not all getting knocked down at the same time. We're going to pick each other back up and keep going.
All right, then one final piece, because I think it's the thread that kind of ties it all together for our viewers and, for myself in particular, but passion is key. So just touch on that. Passion is key.
Yeah, I mean, without passion, I mean, you've got nothing. I mean, some people's passion is money, and that's not my passion. I can respect it. It's not my passion, but whatever your passion may be, that's where you need to focus. Because again, that's the thing that's going to lead you through the down times and the up times is passion. And you know, it's the foundation of any business, of anything really worth doing in life is passion. Like if you don't have it, get out. Be honest with yourself. It's not for you. And if it is for you, be honest with yourself that you're passionate about it and that you need to go pursue it and stop doing the things that you're not passionate about, because that can kill your passion in general. You can just become solely apathetic because you're doing a bunch of crap that you don't give a shit about, and something like that. Per paycheck, turns out you can actually make a shit ton of money if you combine your passion with a business or an idea or something that you do professionally. So you can make more money and actually be happier doing it. So if your excuse is, I can't make any money doing my passion, I would challenge that. I think in most cases you can make money and make more money in the long run by far if you actually do something you're passionate about.
Passion is key.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, so that's it. So just so now just look into the camera and then just say like.
I'm Marc Hudson, co-founder and CEO at Rocket Fiber. This is SAME24.life.